what do you get when you combine a mower and a forklift together? You get this monstrosity. So this right here is one of my screw off random projects I decided to do one day, and it's actually came in pretty handy. It's a Craftsman GT50, I think, and I built this whole mast setup out of some angle iron and other random bits of metal I've just had laying around. Forks are also homemade. They do adjust, but they're like extremely hard to move because I made the tolerances way too tight. I welded a Harbor Freight D-ring onto here, and then I got the winch that runs up to pull it up and down. The only issue I really have with it is, since I don't have regular rollers in here, I just have these tiny little bearings. When you're holding something heavy and you try to lower it down, it won't lower down unless you shake the absolute hell out of it or something to get it to, make its way down. But it does work. It does mow. Where's the, there it is. Alright, keep walking. Oh god, I forgot there's some dirt and mud there. Yeah, it still mows. Which is surprising. I don't have a counterweight, but I don't really lift anything extremely heavy. Just things that are too much of an inconvenience for me to carry around. Oh, and I also don't have tilt on here, so I use this chain, and when I need to tilt back, I just come back here, pull the chain a bit, and then, hook it to the next link up or whatever. And then that just wraps around here and through the axle, which probably isn't good for it, but I don't really use this that often. And why did I build this? Because, well, when you work in a warehouse by yourself all week and you're, just doing everything by yourself all the time, you tend to get pretty burnt out. But on weekends, I don't like to sit around. But I also don't like carrying things from the front garage to the back garage, so I figured, oh, why not build a little forklift? Real forklifts, like on Marketplace, they go from like 1,000 to 10,000, and you never know what you're gonna get because they always have issues. I wouldn't even pay more than 500 for one, but I'm just cheap as hell. I'm probably only about 60 bucks into this, and it works just as fine. So then I can just move all my big heavy shit around and still have fun. Because, weekends are meant for relaxing, not overworking yourself and then coming back to work still burn out the next week. Look, see this? Up. And down. Relatively simple setup. So this is one of the reasons why I've built this forklift mower. These 4x4s were all nailed against this pieces of plywood. You can still see where the 4x4s were. I had gotten this whole thing for free, so what I did is I disassembled it all, because the plywood was all in rows the 4x4s were in all rows like this. And then this piece of plywood was up on top. I think it was used as some kind of concrete form or something. So I took it all apart and I built this nice magnificent shop table. The reason I used the forklift to carry this around, because it was extremely heavy when it was all in one sandwiched piece. And I also used it to get all these other 4x4s. Because a buddy of mine dropped off a ton of these 4x4s, and then I just didn't feel like carrying them all the way back here. So I just threw them on the forks, drove all the way back here, lifted it up to where I could stand on that ladder, and put them all up there. And then that video you just saw, this is my toolbox right here from my truck. It was outside for like almost a year, and it's insanely heavy. There was no way I was going to carry that in here, so I used the forklift for that. The only thing that sucks is it doesn't lower all the way to the ground to where you can just drop it and back up like a forklift. So you still do have to do some manual stuff, but it's way better than, doing it completely by hand. So all I had to do was just scoot it off with my hand, and it was good enough. I would probably make this video a bit longer and put it more in action, but it's been extremely windy and just shitty weather. I can't talk correctly. Wonder why. But it's been shitty weather for the past couple months, and what for the fact of there's a bunch of people outside for some reason, so I don't want to have anybody looking at me like, what's this weirdo doing talking to his phone? Because it's not really that often that you see somebody just recording dumb stuff.